While the eye of Hurricane Irma has passed us, we're still seeing the effects. The wind is howling, it's raining sideways. I've seen multiple cars stalled out trying to drive through foot-deep floodwater, getting out of the evacuation shelter. Well, this gives you a good idea about the destructive power of Hurricane Irma. Take a look at this mobile home behind me here. The winds tore right through it. You can see right in the kitchen, right in the living room. Neighbors couldn't believe their eyes when they came home today for the first time. A community changed forever.
Destruction. I mean, it's like a bomb hit this place.
Gusts of 140 miles per hour toppled trees, power lines, and light posts and ripped through this mobile home park. Many of these families without a place to live.
It's horrible. It's just devastating. I lost my screen room, my carport, and my laundry room and everything. It's all sit out in front of my house.
Fortunately, no one was injured. Green says everyone evacuated Friday ahead of the storm. Today, neighbors returned to start the long cleanup process.
I got so many phone calls. You know, everybody wants me to go and take pictures and send it to them.
It's sad, and a lot of people are going to go through some tough times here for the next few months.
While some streets are still flooded, Green says it could have been a lot worse.
We were lucky we didn't get that surge, because then it'd be more damage, a lot more.
Now, if you're planning on coming back to some of these affected areas, you need to be careful. There's sharp debris everywhere. I almost stepped in a couple of nails myself, so if you don't need to be out here, don't. The flooding here really is just incredible. Today, I've seen people take boats and take kayaks just to get back to their home, but it's not just the flooding we're dealing with here. So today, I went out in a pickup truck to go out and see some of the wind damage caused by Hurricane Irma. Neighborhoods underwater.
There's no words. Unless you see it personally, you just can't understand the damage. You have to see it.
Today we rode along in the back of a pickup truck. It's the only way we could get back to the Citrus Park and Southern Pines communities in Bonita Springs.
Devastating. It's, some houses are good and others are completely gone.
Wind gusts topping 100 miles an hour tore apart manufactured homes in Southern Pines. Floodwater adding to the damage in Citrus Park.
My heart goes out for everybody. I'm sorry, but it's just, it's act of God, I guess.
The floodwater is about 3 feet deep here. I'm seeing fish swim right through the street and sharp metal objects everywhere. While the Stroshines home is relatively okay, many are looking at total losses.
I'm crying on the inside, not just for myself, but most of the people in the whole area here.
For these friendly communities, the road to recovery will be long and expensive. Right now, they're praying for the water to recede so they can begin.
It's going to take some rebuilding. We will rebuild the park.
Thank God.
Now, if there's any silver lining here, it's that everyone evacuated ahead of the storm. No one was there during it, although now actually you can see some people going back to their houses here. Although now there's a lot of concern that there's all that metal and all that debris in the road, so when they go back to start cleaning up their houses, there could be an injury risk there. So if you're going out there, you need to be careful. Well, I wish the TV had scratch and sniff. This is sewer water. It smells like garbage. You can actually taste it in the air, and this is the water that's trapping people in their homes here in Bonita Springs. The Imperial River rushing through neighborhoods in Bonita Springs.
It looks like New Orleans. I lived in Baton Rouge, and it reminds me of Katrina, New Orleans.
Many neighbors rode out Hurricane Irma here in their homes.
When we got up the next morning, this is what we had, all this water.
We're stuck. What are we going to swim out?
Families stranded on patches of land resembling moats.
I went through Katrina, Isaac, Gustav, Andrew in Louisiana, Irma. Nothing like it.
Even before Irma, neighbors say nearly a foot of water covered this road. The area constantly floats because of the sheet flow from upstate. Bonita Springs Mayor Peter Simmons says he's spoken with FEMA, Governor Scott, and county commissioners about finding a solution for the areas that keep getting flooded.
Specifically, we are looking at ways to help, which may mean permanently relocating some of these neighborhoods.
The mayor tells me that although the floodwater here in the Imperial River is starting to recede, and now as the afternoon rain returns, that brings the possibility of even more flooding.
Unless you put up a wall or put up a dam or build Noah's Ark, you're not going to solve this.
Neighbors desperately waiting for water levels to return to normal.
We've tried to make it out a few times, and now we're just down to the point where he don't want to risk the truck hydrolocking, so we're here.
In Bonita Springs, Devin Turk, NBC2. This is about as close as our truck will let us go, and you can obviously see why this street here is still covered in floodwater. Look at this truck. It gives you some good perspective on how deep it is here. Many people haven't been able to get in and out of their homes here, and they're just trapped back there.
It's been a nightmare. We left alone here. No help, no nothing.
Families feeling desperate in Bonita Springs. Floodwater from the Imperial River is barely receding.
Oh, it's devastating. I mean, to see how much destruction it did and how much cleanup needs to be done and you know, what all the neighbors are going through.
Neighbors say it's gone down by only 6 inches over the past few days after peaking at about 3 feet deep.
I can't get the car out. So when a big truck comes, if a neighbor has a big truck, they can take us out.
The wake from those driving by shooting water into homes.
Not this one, but the couple next to it. The water has gone through, and neighbors went in, and they already have the mold going up.
Many are still stranded without power. Some haven't been able to work. Neighbors haven't had mail, trash, or recycling service in weeks.
They've got a lot of rotten meat and a lot of rotten food to get rid of and no way to get rid of it.
It smells like rotten garbage and dead fish.
They're finding dead fish washing up behind their homes.
So we've just been scooping them and throwing them over there.
The Salvation Army delivered more than 200 meals along with food, water, and supplies to families today. Neighbors used to dealing with flooding say it could be weeks until life returns to normal.
It's going to be a month and a half before this dries out. If I had to guess, watching what happened from the last storm.
Now, there are more than 40 houses back here. Some of the people living here suggested that the city maybe bring out a dumpster and put it out here. That way people can throw their trash away. I brought that idea up to the mayor today of Bonita Springs, but so far I've yet to hear back if they plan on actually implementing something like that. This neighborhood got it just about as bad as anybody. We're talking about 3 feet of water inside some of these homes here. So why is it a full 16 days after Hurricane Irma are we still seeing sights like this?
Right now, we're just shoveling a little bit drywall.
As families continue to pick up the pieces, they're reminded of just how bad the flooding was.
After 2 or 3 days more, it was after the knee, but once the storm hits, it was up to the hip.
This new video from our Sky 2 drone shows how bad the flooding still is in some places. Phil Flood with the South Florida Water Management District says while August rainfall played a factor,
the ground was saturated, so we don't get that storage in the ground that you normally would see there.
The Imperial River's watershed is more than 300 square miles. That stretches all the way to Immokalee. That means all the water in the area uses the river to flow to the Gulf. And Hurricane Irma brought 20 inches of rain in spots.
And so we have this extensive amount of rainfall that's trying to make its way out through the river, and it's backing up, and you're seeing all the flooding that's occurred.
The district put 2 pumps on Bonita Beach Road to pump the water south to the Cocohatchee Canal in Collier County.
From there, the water will flow out through the river into the Gulf of Mexico. And what we're doing is we're moving water from the one watershed and taking it down into another.
They also have pumps taking water out of the Corkscrew Swamp so it doesn't get in the Imperial River watershed. They started last Friday because the levels were finally low enough in the Cocohatchee Canal.
The quicker we can get water out of the watershed over here, the quicker the water levels will drop in the Imperial River.
So how long could we see this flooding? Well, that really depends on Mother Nature. If we get a lot of rain, that could flood the Imperial River, so they're hoping that it stays dry, but they tell me they're going to continue to pump until those water levels become normal again. Well, we went kayaking out on the river today, and this is what we found. A lot of debris like this styrofoam and this insulation. The problem is the river is already 5 feet above normal, so this is just damming it up even more. We were paddling through walking trails, taken by the quick currents, finding some houses still underwater and roofs and doors stuck in the river.
You don't know how many times you can say it. It breaks your heart. It brings you to tears.
While the city has hired crews to clean the debris, some business owners want to take matters into their own hands.
It backs water up, and that's what keeps it in the communities longer. So the faster we can get the river back to normal, the faster the water's going to recede and help out the community.
Our guides tell us it's even worse down that way, but because there's so much debris in the water, we can't even go through it.
It still hasn't receded to the way that it needs. Now we're getting more rain. So it's been difficult on the whole community.
Bonita's flooding has made for a tough month for downtown businesses.
There's been no business.
We really just need everybody to come back downtown.
They're now rushing to clear debris ahead of Riverfest on October 21st. The annual downtown event helps kick off tourist season.
And just brings a lot of new people down to the river to see what's going on, and then they also see all the businesses down here.
And this year, it's even more important to help jumpstart a local economy that's been struggling since Hurricane Irma.
Well, we need local support from our neighborhood, from Bonita Springs, for all of us to get back going and be able to employ people again and feed our families and support our community as well.
Now, Riverfest is held right here in Riverside Park. There's also a Facebook group full of people who want to go out and try and clear some of this debris from the river. I've got a link to that on our website under news links if you'd like to help out. Reporting live in Bonita Springs, Devin Turk, NBC2.